Okay, I'm sure like you've got loads of questions going through your mind about the upcoming fight between George Groves and Carl Froch. You know, the questions like, well, the referee stopped the fight early, but was Froch going to go on and win the fight? Or was Groves going to come back and stop Froch in the next round? You this way, you that way. There are those people that don't feel that Carl Froch gave George Groves the credit, and so George Groves has become somewhat of a hero, even though he lost the fight. Regardless of the decision, he lost the fight, and so therefore in history it goes down as an L, a loss, not a no decision. So Froch Groves 2 is here, and if you're watching the antics of recent times with George Groves, in the lead up to the first fight, I felt George Groves had a psychological advantage over Carl Froch. I believe Carl Froch probably did take George slightly, or probably a lot, complacent. I think he was quite complacent for the first fight. And that first round where he got dropped by the right hand, he probably wasn't just only embarrassed that the fact that this man has actually gone out, said he's going to do what he's done, and done it, which is sheer carelessness as a fighter. Because if somebody's coming out and telling you what they're going to do and you haven't even prepared yourself for it, even aware at the back of your mind, well, you know what, this guy may try the double right hand on me, let me try and see if I can put my hand up, block it, move out the way, and do something different and adjust. No, you walk straight into it. So that's complacency. And even the shot, if you look at the shot that caught Froch, he was off balance anyway. I think his 2 feet were right beside one another, side by side, rather than one foot in front of the other to get any balance. So if he had been pushed, you'd have been knocked over. But the fact that George Groves had all the time in the world to really put all his leverage into the punches is another matter altogether. Now, the last couple of events I've seen George Groves either live or recorded in these face-offs, he's ended up looking speechless. There are times that he said something. The last one, which is the last sort of head-to-head they had, I haven't seen the whole thing yet. I think it's going to be this Saturday, called Gloves Off, which is something that Ringside are doing, sort of like the face-off that HBO love to do. And at one point, I think Groves turns around. I think Groves turns to Carl and says, "Do you know what I'm going to hit you with this time?" And Froch turns around and says, "Either left or right hand." And he looks at the camera and smirks because he looks kind of stupid. Then he gets up. They both get up to shake hands, and then Groves stretches his hand over to Froch and tries to pull him over. And in the end, it kind of makes Groves look like a bit of an idiot as Groves falls over. Like, you know, Carl's able to almost manhandle him. Now, boxing matches definitely can be won outside the ring, and George is going to want every advantage possible for him going into this fight. Now, I think George Groves is a good fighter, in fact a very good fighter, but can he actually beat Carl Froch? On the evidence of the first half of the fight, you would say, yeah, he was on his way to winning the fight. But there still are question marks about George Groves' stamina. Now, if you look at the fight between George Groves and James DeGale, I know that was when they had very few fights in their professional career. If you look at the first half of the fight, George Groves was doing well, you know, at times picking DeGale off with lovely shots and looking very, very, very good against the slickster, which is James DeGale. He was out slicking the slickster. Now, if you look at the second half of the fight, George Groves started to tire badly, and when he was tiring badly, DeGale was able to tag him, and I think around the 9th round he actually tagged Groves and had him in a lot of trouble. Now, Groves did come back in the next round at DeGale. Now, I don't know if DeGale had blown his bolt at that time and you know, had wasted a lot of energy trying to get Groves out of there, but you know, Groves came back well. So, and Groves got buzzed in the 9th by Froch. And in my pre-fight prediction the first time round, I expected Groves to be ahead, run out of steam, and for Froch to stop him late. That's what happened. So there are a couple of questions in my mind that need to be answered, and will get answered anyway at fight time. But I want to hear your fans, you the boxing fans, what you think. Question number 1, Adam Booth. Now, Paddy Fitzpatrick, no disrespect to him, I don't know him as a trainer. He's probably, you know, one of the best trainers in the world, and you know, probably he's going to bring something different to the table, because he's had a whole training camp with George Groves this time, and I know it was the last minute they were all together because Groves partied with Booth. Now, the key element is this. I know that from what George Groves is saying, that Paddy Fitzpatrick and him have a good relationship. So Paddy Fitzpatrick's probably a very good trainer. Probably have no doubts about that. But the one thing is, Adam Booth. Booth is, you could say, psychologically, he's very good with mind games. You've seen a lot with David Hay. I believe, if I'm right, I could be wrong here, that Booth's either got a degree or something, or masters, or some sort of certification in psychology. So now, all the times I've seen Groves since Adam Booth has left and has now been with Paddy Fitzpatrick, and if you look the head-to-heads, Groves each time has come off not good, second best. And I just wonder whether Adam Booth would have allowed George Groves to engage as much as he has with Carl Froch, and given Carl Froch confidence, because every time George Groves is losing these battles, which he is, and at times is making himself look open and for ridicule, Froch is gaining confidence. Let's get this right here. Both guys are confidence fighters. Both guys are confidence fighters. From what I see, they're both confidence fighters. And I think every time Froch is getting engaged with Groves, he's actually gaining more confidence. You know, and the last, the gloves off episode, as you saw, as you will see, Froch just dismissed Groves as a child, as a boy, and he's now saying that he's going to go out there and put lots of pressure on Groves. Now, this can happen, but he cannot and should not fight Groves off the back foot. If he fights Groves off the back foot, which I mean is the back foot, a lot of the pressures of his back foot is pushing, or he's pushing backwards. So he's fighting off the back foot and trying to sting George. If he tries to do that, he gets knocked out or gets stopped by Groves. And I'll tell you why. If you look at the fights with DeGale kept as close to George Groves as possible, not allowing him the time, the space to land the big bombs. If you look at when Froch got buzzed, all the times he got buzzed, all the time he got dropped. Typical somebody on Skype. Hold on, sorry people. Sorry. Back we go. All the times he got buzzed, if you look at the fight again, it's when Froch was backing up, dropping his hands, and was lazy. Every time that happened, if you look at the when he got buzzed, he had 2 feet forward and was caught off balance, which dropped him. Not saying that, but then George had all the time to put leverage into shot. So Froch was off balance, George threw the shot, so the shot looked worse than it actually was. I'm not saying he won a good shot. What I'm saying to you, being off balance made it worse. So, and that was a hard fall that Froch went down with. It was a hard fall. And then you look again when he was buzzed, I think even the second or the third or the eighth, with the second, third or the eighth, he got buzzed again hard. Again, Froch was off the back foot. Froch has got to close the range down against George Groves. I believe he can do that. If he closes the range down with George Groves, close the range down, don't allow Groves the space to land shots and land frequently and often on George's chin. He's got to do that. And I'm of the belief that if if he does that against George Groves and hits George Groves hard and early, he can stop George Groves in this fight. He can stop George Groves, because for all the big shots that Groves landed on Froch, he wasn't able to stop him. Remember this. And as the fight went on, Groves tired. So if Groves is to win this fight, I believe Groves has got to win this fight within the first 6 rounds. And I believe if Froch can close the range down, don't give... Yes, he may have the faster hand speed. That's true. And he may have the faster footwork and foot speed. Great. You've got to close his mind down. I don't think George Groves is as powerful a puncher backing up as he is coming forward. Okay? So, momentum meaning being able to throw in like this as opposed to backing up and throwing shots, because his feet are wide apart. Now, if your feet are wide apart, it's difficult for you to move backwards or forwards, I believe. So, he's got a wide stance, Groves, very much like David Haye. So you have to back up, get yourself position set, and throw punches. So I believe Froch has got to close the range down. Try not coming in straight lines though, maybe at angles, and close the range down with Groves and make him have to fight. Make him have to fight. Now, there were rumours of before the fight, the first fight, Froch Groves being knocked out cold in sparring by somebody by a left hook. Don't know how true that was. And the recent rumour is that supposedly Froch got dropped in sparring by Chris Eubank Jr. But hey, there's always rumours coming out of that camp. How true that is, don't know. The only truth of the matter is Froch and Chris Eubank Jr. were sparring, which for me is a good sign, because he's sparring with somebody who's young and up and coming, and he's arrogant and wants to test himself against the best. So Froch has locked himself away from all distractions, almost like a monk, and is dedicated, and the sports psychologist, which Groves is mocking at the moment. Will he need a sports psychologist coming into this fight? Because at the moment, psychologically, he's just giving away own goals all the time. So would love to hear what you guys think. Is George Groves missing Adam Booth? Again, this is no disrespect to Paddy Fitzpatrick, and I don't know him as a trainer that well. At least I've had a chance to talk to kind of Adam Booth up close. I was talking to him before the Haye Chisora fight, and they've got it on my channel somewhere now. And I had a chance to really talk to him after the cameras were rolling. So the question is George Groves missing Adam Booth for the mind games? And is Carl Froch this time gaining something because of the sports psychologist? And will it matter when they get in the ring? And what do you think about the strategy I'm talking about for Froch to win the fight? A lot of people are talking about, has Froch got anything left? If he's got anything left, in terms of he's not shot, and that fight, the last fight he had, wasn't shot. If he's not shot, and he's sharp, and he's on the money for this fight, I'm going with Froch again. Be sharp. So, for me, if Groves wins this fight, it's because Froch went off the back, tried to take the fight on the back foot and not take the fight to Groves. There's no point Froch standing off the back foot trying to counter punch Groves, because Groves has got the faster hands, and I believe if he gives him space, he'll dominate. So, that's my views. I'd love to hear what you think, and yeah, I'm out.